Kris Krohn here with Limitless Wealth TV, and today we're talking about the worst cities to invest in when it comes to real estate. Worst cities in America to invest in. Stephen, we could list off lots of cities, but instead we want to actually teach you principles, 3 specific principles for what you need to look for what could be a good city or a bad city. And the reason why we're doing this is because we get a lot of comments. People like, hey, I live in New York or I live in San Fran, and how am I supposed to actually breach and get into real estate? And here's the reality. Sometimes you just shouldn't be limited to what's in your backyard, because what's in your backyard is not, this is my stink face, is not what you should invest in. Turning the zombie.
Look, again, we love America. We're not here to call out any specific cities. I don't care where you live and what your situation is.
Because you all should be investing in real estate.
Because you
regardless
all should be investing in real estate. But I want to talk about what makes up a bad city to invest in. Meaning, what are the specific things you need taking a look at? And the first one is the economy. How is the economy doing? Is the economy increasing right now? Is the economy decreasing? Is there job growth? Or are jobs being moved out of your city or your state that you're in right now?
All you got to do is stop by City Hall, your local county, and just ask around a little bit and just say, hey, where's the path of progress? What's going down? Like, for example, Stephen and I, we live here in Utah. So this is central base for how we run our entire national conglomerate of doing real estate in all states in America. And one of the things that's really great about Utah is that Utah is super attractive to companies like Adobe that's moving in, and Google, and these large corporations. And if you go down and talk to the city, they'll tell you, oh, over the next 10 years, we think that we're going to grow by 900,000 people. And they look at that growth, and it becomes very apparent whether you're in an area that is booming or dying.
There are literally hundreds of millions of dollars being put in, maybe even billions of dollars being put into these economically growing areas that you want to be investing in. And so you want to look for that. You want to say, okay, well, what's being put in? What kind of infrastructure is being built? Are there roads and freeways and highways that are being built right now? Are companies coming into these areas and establishing their businesses here? And those are good indicators of that being a place that you want to be investing in.
Now, you need to watch out for a very important economic principle called economic winter. Okay, economic winter is talking about specific areas around the country where there's 2 things that are happening. We talked about the first one, which is how's the economy itself doing as far as business growing or shrinking. But what you especially face with economic winter is when a specific area population-wise is decreasing. People are not replacing, people are moving out of the cities. So there's some areas in the Midwest, for example, where right now they are shrinking. What happens to real estate if no one is there to buy it?
It's left vacant.
It's left vacant, and it's worth nothing. A home is only worth what someone's willing to pay. So if you have an area where enough people are moving away, you're going to get these ghost towns. This is already happening in Europe. Right now, America is still doing quite well as far as just our population growth. We're barely replacing ourselves, which means 2 humans get together and they average making more than 2 humans. But there are places in the world where that is not the case, and that is really hurting real estate a lot.
One part of this that you want to be aware of, and this is kind of a little bonus I just wanted to throw in for you, is to be aware of the governments in the different areas that you're in. And this isn't even state by state. This could be city by city. You want to be aware, is this government, is it a landlord-friendly government, or is it a tenant-friendly government? We've had experiences with both. We've been in areas that have been extremely tenant-friendly. When that's the case, for a landlord, for an entrepreneur, for someone that's an investor in real estate, it's not good.
Well, it's the difference between, hey, someone is actually not paying the rent, and the local government's going to let them squat for 90 days or 180 days before we actually pull them out of there. And you still have a responsibility with the bank. You still owe money, and yet the tenant is protected to stay in their victim financial situation, and then you as the investor get to carry the brunt. So there are other areas that are the opposite. 3 days, you're out. Your butt's grass. You're gone.
So the worst cities in America are those that are very tenant friendly. So stay away from those.
Yeah. And then the last thing that we want to share for today's video is check out the median income for the area. You know, people's ability to pay rents, people's ability to pay for your house really comes down to how much money they make. And there are some areas where the average income is $60,000 a year, and there are other areas where the average income is $30,000 a year. Now, when a household income hits $30,000, that's considered poverty level. Nationwide in America, the average household income right now is sitting right around $59,000. And so obviously, when you get to a very micro level and you have a house and you're vetting a tenant, obviously the tenant that makes more money and has a better credit is going to make a better tenant. Yep. So before you look at it on an individual basis, you want to look at it at the macro level, which says, well, let's judge this city. And citywide, the average income here is $30,000. Average person I'm going to deal with is at the poverty level. That may not make your best long-term tenant in a home. I'm being facetious. It's not going to make your best long-term tenant home. But some of the areas when Stephen and I invest nationwide, for example, the U.S. is made of 360 sub-markets, somewhere around there. And when you take a look at each one of those markets, what we do is we have a classification system that eventually says who are the dogs and where are the rock stars. I can tell you, for example, that we go into a very small part of Florida, into the Kissimmee County, just south of the state parks, Disney and things like that. The average employee that fills up that entire population there of renting houses, those are houses that we're still buying for $120, $140, $160 that still cost over $200,000 to build, but the average person there makes $60,000 a year. Okay, and what does that equate to? That equates to not having a problem with, first of all, the vacancy problem. We don't have that. But more importantly, repairs, missed payments, and things like that just aren't going down because the economics are good. So you take a look at that market and the other 4 markets we're in right now, strong economy, strong population, and then you also have really, really strong income for the average person living in that area. You put those 3 things together and add the 4th one, Stephen's bonus, on governments that are friendly to investors and favor us in the decisions of how we manage real estate, and you're going to be stepping into a fantastic market. If you want to know more about what these markets are, there's a video up here that you can click that we've shot earlier on our favorite hot markets where we're investing right now. And after you've done that, you can also click this link and we will share with you what it would look like to work with our team. You can access our 200 experts and we'll take you right into those markets, sight unseen, and actually help you buy all of that real estate, give you 100% of the ownership, but we'll take care of all the hands-on management and day-to-day so that you get to come out like a rock star. So those are the principles on the worst cities to invest in. But if you're ready to invest in the right cities, the best cities around the entire country, click the link up here and start actually viewing some of the deals that me and my team are doing and jump in and request a consultation where we'll sit down and give you a game plan on how you can start investing in the best cities.